Today we are gathered here for some amazing discussions. Pakistan and KP government, we are very much proud to have this Italian archaeological mission working in Pakistan from the last 70 years. In fact, we will be celebrating this year 70 years of Italian archaeological cooperation with Pakistan. They are working in Swat from, as I said, since 1954. This will be like 25 years, and this is the third generation Italian archaeologists. They are working here. And the government of Khyber-Pakhtunkhwa and the government of Pakistan is extremely thankful to the Italian government for this wonderful cooperation. During this time, they have excavated more than 30 archaeological sites. They have conserved like more than 50 archaeological sites in Swat Valley, and more than 500 research articles and books were published related to Swat archaeology. I would request Her Excellency, Italian Ambassador to Pakistan, please come here and to speak few words about this session. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Dr. Samad, for this introduction and for accepting to be our moderator in this panel. I'm thrilled to see so many of you here, so many young people. I'm really honored to speak, first of all, and for the first time at the Lahore Literary Festival, because we consider that it is really a premier cultural event that celebrates the rich literary heritage of Pakistan and beyond. This festival is a testament to the power of literature and the arts to bridge cultures, communities, and borders. As Dr. Samad has said, today we mark 70 years of Italian archaeological presence in Pakistan. It was in 1955 that Italian archaeologists fell in love with Swat in Khyber-Pakhtunkhwa province. Especially Professor Giuseppe Tucci, a world-class scholar in Tibetan and Buddhist studies, who first understood the significance of this chunk of Swat Valley, roamed by buffaloes and goats. Since then, Italian archaeologists have made groundbreaking discoveries, including the unearthing of the ancient city of Basira and the stunning painted pottery from the Chalcolithic period. Over the years, we have worked tirelessly to preserve Pakistan's cultural treasures. In 2014, the Italian government launched the Debt for Heritage initiative, which enabled us to restore and rebuild several archaeological sites, including the Swat Museum and the colossal Islamabad Buddha. Our work does not stop there. In Sindh, we have explored the ancient city of Bambor, a cosmopolitan hub that connected East and West. Our research has shed new light on Pakistan's history from pre-Islamic times to the Islamic era. As we celebrate 70 years of collaboration, we are proud to highlight the Italian Archaeological Mission's scientific production, with over 1,200 books and research papers published to date. We are really grateful for the trust and cooperation we have received from the Pakistani authorities and people. As we look to the future, we are committed to continuing our work, uncovering new secrets, and preserving Pakistan's incredible cultural heritage for the generations to come. Now, I thank you all again for being present today, and as I'm eager to hear our panelists who came from Italy, especially for this occasion, and I hand over to Dr. Samad. Thank you.
Thank you, Excellency. Once again, We are very much proud of this partnership between two countries, the Italian Archaeological Mission and the government of Khyber-Pakhtunkhwa, government of Pakistan, who are highlighting the rich cultural heritage of Pakistan particularly. So let me introduce our two speakers today. Professor Luca Maria Olivieri, to my extreme left, he is a professor at the Venice University. Currently, he is the director of the Italian Archaeological Mission. He has done some amazing work. In recognition of his contribution in the field of archaeology, the government of Pakistan has bestowed him the Sitara-i-Imtiaz a few years ago. And rightly, of course, I'm very much proud that he is my class fellow. We have done our PhDs in Germany together. That is another relation that we have. Candida is a good friend. She is an architect by profession. As I said in the beginning, the Italian Archaeological Mission, they have done some wonderful work in Swat, particularly in a very extreme conditions, especially after the insurgency in Swat Valley, Candida, and after the earthquake in Swat Valley. So she was involved in rehabilitating the Swat Archaeological Museum, which is one of the best museum in Pakistan. So I would strongly recommend whenever you have time, you should and you must visit Swat Museum. So we will hear about the Swat and other contribution that she has made. So over to you, Candida.
Thank you very much for this amazing introduction. And so good afternoon to everybody. First of all, it's really for me a great pleasure and honor to stay here to be part of this panel. So thank you very much to our ambassador for the invitation, to Professor Luca Maria Olivieri, and also my director, Francesco Zacta, for this. So today, as Dr. Samad said, I was the architect with Ivano Marati, that is also my husband. And so we were in charge for reconstruction of Swat Museum in ACT project. This project was financed by government of Italy with a PITA agreement. That is a Pakistani, that is a Pakistan-Italian debt SWOT agreement. It's a huge agreement that our government with the government of Pakistan signed in 2006, immediately after the earthquake. And so ACT was one of the first projects, and we completed 48 projects last year. So ACT project was financed by our government, implemented by Italian Archaeological Mission with with the Italian Institute for Africa and Orient, and also implemented by the Directorate of Archaeological and the Museum Khyber-Pakhtunkhwa province, sorry for my pronunciation, and also managed by Italian organization AICS. Today, I'm here also to present this book that was completely dedicated to the museum, and I was co-author with Ivano Marati, and this book is the first volume of I think more than 20 publications that Italian Archaeological Mission done in the last years. Okay, so our intention was not just to, we are architects, so what was the problem in the beginning was to understand which kind of book. So what we want to share with the readers. And our intention was to share our approach. We divided the book, so the content in 4 parts, one dedicated to the project, one other to the study that we did in the architecture of 15 in Saudi Sharif, then Swat Museum in 2011, and then one huge part dedicated to the design and construction of the new Swat Archaeological Museum, and also the annex part. So the first part regarding the ACT, made by Professor Olivieri. Here we just go to share the objective of this project. This project has been developed in two phases. One was from 2011 and 2014. So in this first phase, we also including our museum. And then the second phase from 2015 until 2016. So ACT means archaeology, community, tourism. So this project, the intention of this project was to create connection between these three sectors. Now, I mean, there are a lot of projects in Pakistan with this kind of connection, but in that time, in 2011, and 11 was really, it was really pioneeristic view, because the context under social, economic, and political point of view was not really easy in the time. So the Italian Archaeological Mission started this project that really got the results defined in the beginning. So basically, they had two different objectives. One scientific that later, I'm sure that Professor Olivieri will go to show in detail to you, so I don't want to take too much time. So the scientific part is focused on the program and target of the Italian Archaeological Mission, so about conservation, restoration, the emergency restoration, passive conservation. And then the second part, the second objective regarding the socio-economic part, the part that involving actively the local community. So through the field work school model that for the first time the Italian Archaeological Mission adopted this model on the field in order to create a job opportunity for the community. So they learn by doing on field. But later, he will give you more details, of course, and not just for the workers, but also for all community that live around the archaeological site with the widespread hospitality. So here I just show some image about the archaeological site, but later he will go more in detail. And please focus on the red one that is the rock art painting, protohistoric, because also we insert in our museum. So this is the Buddha, the one that our ambassador mentioned before. It was damaged by Taliban. So the first chapter focused on the architecture of 15 in Saudi Sharif. So why? First of all, because as I told before, we worked for reconstruction of a new Swat archaeological museum, but because existing an old museum made by Italian. So that's why first we really study in deep all the architecture of the 15 that was the same time that was built the original one, and was during the modern state of Swat under the last Mongol Wali. So the history of this state is amazing because the vision was really modern. He invests everything in development of urban and architectural sector, fixing really strict urbanistic regulation and also architectural and technical specification. He also allowed to use contamination of European and Islamic style. He invests in health services and facilities, in modern education, in telecommunication, in the restoration of hotels and guest house, in infrastructure, and he invests in natural and archaeological resources. So thanks to him, and this state was started in 1917 and finished in 1969. So the last Wali one day called the professor and archaeologist, the famous and Professor Giuseppe Tucci, 1915, to open the Italian Archaeological Mission in collaboration with the Department of Archaeology and the Museum Government of Pakistan. And in this way, he starts his valorization program of Swat archaeological heritage. So in the same time, you see, just 4 years later, maybe Professor Tucci called the architect Vittorio Caroli, who start the construction of the build. You see on your left side the original building, just with 3 galleries and really simple facade. Then they modified in 1963, closing some windows, and then in 1967 they add, just one second. Okay, they add 6 galleries on the back, and they modified the facade. So this was the situation in 2004, or to be more clear, until the earthquake of October 2005, because the earthquake damaged the building, and also later, also in February 2008, the museum was damaged by bomb attack. So for this reason, from 2008, the museum was closed. So the second part of the book is focused on the Swat Museum in 2011. So it's the time exactly when we start our job in the museum. So we are both architects. So our first point is, okay, we have to study in deep the structure. So what is the condition after earthquake and after bomb attack? Because our idea was to preserve the heritage and preserve the historical, the building, no? And that's why we also collaborate, we involved in this study, the University of Engineering and the Technology of Peshawar, to make all structural health assessment and the visual assessment. So I go quickly here because it's a really technical part. This is a metrical survey, and also they identify, okay, each cracks in each point of the building. They make also a different and a lot of tests on field and in laboratory. And also this is the structural health assessment evaluation. And the important thing is after this investigation, okay, the recommendation were to demolish the frontal part. So all the part that you see in red was recommended to be demolished because are really damaged. So it was not possible to repair or to retrofit it. And also another recommendation was to avoid any additional load on the existing floor. So what means that we cannot add one for more, the existing one. So this, I share with you this kind of approach to also explain how an architectural design has to follow this direction, but the different direction that coming from different situation that we have to consider before to start. And also another thing is avoid the vibration during the demolition, because vibration can create damage to the foundation for existing part. So if you see the part that we kept was the block that we called block H in the middle, and of course that part was retrofitted, so consolidated. So this is, we are in the last part of the book, focusing on the new Swat Archaeological Museum. So first of all was the urban contest. So the museum is inside the compound that also including reserve collection, storage office, and also guest house, in total of 120,000 square meters. The compound is on the main road, on the main road in Mingora, Saudi Sharif, inside the Malakan division. And okay, when we start, first of all, we start to understand our limits. Why? Because usually, I don't know, usually to the architect, any person go and ask, give me an idea. It seems that our job is linking to an idea, but it's not an idea. It's not abstract things. So our job is starting and move inside the limits. So it's important to understand which were our limits in that moment. So first was the budget. The second was the daily shortage of electricity. what means that the museum couldn't have air condition. The museum couldn't have natural light, artificial light. So how all of this information had a limit and conditioned strongly our approach and our design. Then also the security situation that limited all the transportation about the materials. So we couldn't use materials coming from Islamabad, but materials just coming from Malacca division. So not in the province, but in the district. In that time, I mean, because of security situation, and also no local anti-seismic construction techniques. So we knew well that we need to design a structure that was easy also to teach to the workers, because they didn't know nothing about this kind of structure. I go quickly? Quickly. Okay, but it's okay. So before to start, we just make a reflection about the identity concept, because identity is generated by an interconnection between people, the build, and the site. This interconnection is not static, it's dynamic. So what means that it's not possible to destroy identity, it's not possible to create new identity, it's possible to transform. So we know that the situation was we knew in that time the situation was like this, and after that was like this, because we should demolish that part. Also, we knew really well the relation between community and this building during the time, so until this point of this life. So our question was how we can go to respect the existing part, how we are going to integrate it with existing part, and how we can go to recompose this process of identity. So this relation between community, building, and site. And immediately in the plan, we just follow the direction of the existing building, and we add 2 blocks. So it's a really simple composition. One on the back, one other on the front, block B and block A. And between there is a courtyard. In this way, also, thanks to this courtyard, we solved the problem of natural light. Of course, the structure was anti-seismic. Another important point is that it's not possible to think a solution before to understand well the needs. So which kind of needs we have to satisfy with our design? First of all, we have to say that we don't have just a functional needs, because we are architects, so we spend a lot of time to study how solve functional needs with manual, with book, and book. But how we can respond, give our answer about emotional needs. So about the functional is a urban interaction, a safe structure that means anti-seismic and also anti-intrusion, new space to add, create a fluent interconnection, natural light, and ventilation wall. About the emotional one, that is the part that was not complicated, but we think a lot more time than the functional one, was linking with emotional, with the identification and orientation, that there are the 2 psychological functions that linking community with space. So identification means a sense of belonging. So we know in the beginning, before to start our design, we were sure that was not an easy job, because of course we had to create a space where people can identify, can create this sense of belonging. And so this is the section on, and also I remember that the request was, people requested, of course, new space, new gallery, and also conference hall that you can see in the middle. But they asked to have a monumental building. So this was the request from the community. So that's why also so the composition, as I told before, is really easy. Just a slanted wall that create connection between these three blocks, and landing with a golden stone. And if you see in the courtyard, there is no gladding because we impressed in bas reliefs the art picture, the red one that I showed you before, because we want also to create something inside the exhibition that involve the visitors. The exit, and also in the book also we explain in details all construction phases. That was selective demolition, retrofitting, that is consolidation of the existing building by UET of Peshawar, anti-seismic structure of Block A and Block B, the structural designing. So the idea starting from us, but of course we are not engineering, structural engineering. So thanks to great job of University of Peshawar and also University from Naples, our city, and also another Italian society, the name is IRIS, that we design an anti-seismic structure. And if you see, this structure is inside a double wall to create a air gap in the middle of the wall. So it's natural ventilated, and you don't need air condition this building. So inside you have a fresh environment without air condition until now. And so also for the problem of transportation, we also made a farm for the block, for the cement block close to the building. This is also the part of finishing. Then here, just to give you some details about the materials used coming from Malakand division, that was golden and gray stone, that we used for the wall and also for flooring. And also the pattern of the wall is an interpretation of Gandhara walls, because as I told you before, the point is how can create this connection between the people, how people can identify, I can recognize some patterns, some linking, some sense of belonging. Here, for example, we had another problem that was, of course, a structure might be sure against intrusion, so we need steel grill, but instead to have just a simple one like a prison, we interpreted the stair of 6 points of Islamic culture. Oh, okay, this is just a quickly. Okay, you go inside the museum. This is the entrance. Sorry, this is the gallery. I go quickly, but it's not. This is also furniture with the tiles. And also furniture we assembly, reassembly, because in this way you also can change the exhibition. This is Gandhara Galleries, the exhibition, and then we go at the end here, and also all the flooring is a sort of a carpet realized with stone. We go in the courtyard. This is the space interacted each other. And also courtyard become part of the exhibition. This is the execution of the bas relief. This is not working. And then, okay, this is just, some details. And so after this, I have just other 2 slides really quickly, but this is just to close our book. Other details about the portal, so the main one. This book also was one of the first that was free download on the website, because our idea was to divulgate and to promote the museum. So also for us was really important that all people coming, and also to see how the Buddhist community use the space and recognizing this space some familiar is for us is really important. That means that we respect also the intention of Giuseppe Tucci. And before to just give you this, I take the occasion to give our gratitude to Professor Olivieri, because when he proposed this job, and also because from the beginning, he believed in our approach from the beginning to the end, and also because he pushed us too much to write this book, because we were and so this is just this is just the new two project that we are going to start this year with Italian Archaeological Mission, like with Italian as Italian Agency for Development Cooperation, because now after 11 years I am the cultural heritage expert in the agency, so I'm really, really happy that after so long time we start again with these two amazing projects, Khyber-Pakhtunkhwa and the Heritage Field School. I don't know, maybe I don't have time. And this is just the last one, the last one to say shukriya. Shukriya you for your attention, and also I used this picture because I made this one in 2006 when I arrived in Balakot area. We arrived, me and Ivano, and because we were the architect in charge for the construction of the school after an earthquake. So the situation was really terrible in that time. And this picture, that is kids that waited for us every morning. And this strange object in red one is the anti-seismic plinth foundation. And this is the father of the foundation that we use it in the museum. So this is the connection between our school and museum later, and also to give you the message how is so important that each project, I think, that should give a contribution to improve resilience for the new generation. In each sector, in each field, it's important that give contribution to improve their future and their resilience against the natural disaster. So shukriya really to the community who help us, support us, and motivate me to come back after 13 years in this amazing country. So thank you very much. Sorry for the time, but it was also...
Thank you, Candida. Luca was so right to believe in you. You have done wonderful work. Unfortunately, back in 2008, the museum received a big blow because of this bomb blast. And you and your team, you have done amazing work to have one of the best museum in Pakistan. After you were reconstructed this museum, almost millions of people they have visited, including Buddhist community from around the world. And this is the first, by the way, to tell you, this is the first museum in Pakistan which is earthquake-resistant museum. So thank you very much for this one. Since we do not have time, so I would request quickly to start with the Professor Luca Olivieri. He has done some amazing work, and unfortunately, we will have only 15 minutes time that he will sum up his contribution in 15 minutes. Thank you very much.
Don't worry, Dr. Samad. So good morning, everyone, and many thanks to the Italian Embassy and Madam the Ambassador for having organized together with the LLF this panel today. Thanks to Candida Vassallo, who spoke before me, to Dr. Samad for agreeing to be here and lead this panel, and to all of you for being here today. I'm particularly happy about this event, my second time at LLF, but this time is something different. This time is something different because, not number one, because I'm presenting something on my own, but also because 2025, as has been already said, marks the 70th anniversary of this scientific and human endeavor that has linked Italy and Pakistan from the very beginning of their existence as modern nation states. But I need my PowerPoint, please. And this was the first slide. Okay. With the first set of slides, I would simply like to build a bridge with what Candida previous talk, by briefly presenting, for example, some of the work carried out by the Italian Archaeological Mission at the colossal Buddha of Jahanabad in Swat, which were targeted by the Taliban in 2007. Now that the conservation work has been completed, this iconic Buddha stands as a major destination for national, religious, and international tourism. But not only that also that museum represented one of the major achievements, as has been already said by Candida. The museum was here, you can see Dr. Samad inaugurating the museum with the late ambassador, later lamented Chiodi Cianfarani in 2013. The museum presented by Candida Vassallo was another of our great results achieved together with the Directorate of Archaeology and Museum of Khyber-Pakhtunkhwa, headed by Dr. Samad. That was the museum after it was hit by a bomb blast in February 2008. So the reconstruction of the Swat Museum, as already said by Candida, was a major achievement, frankly speaking. 3 years, it costed only, was practically almost half of the budget of ACT project, was not more than, I would say, 1,200,000 euro. That was the cost of the entire operation, including the technical assistance represented by the architects and so on. So it was really an achievement just in 3 years. Now that the conservation work, thank you so much, has been completed, that was inaugurated, that was a lucky event, that was exactly inaugurated 50 years after the first inauguration, that occurred on the 10th of November 1963. And these are some of the photographs that have been taken, just to add some more visual information to what Candida has already said. Very quickly, very briefly, that is the museum as does it look today, inside. And this is Professor Tucci, okay? Giuseppe Tucci was awarded Hilal-i-Imtiaz, Pakistan. He was a well-known Italian explorer and Tibetologist. After having explored Tibet for years in long expeditions before the Second World War, opened a permanent Italian archaeological mission in Swat in 1955, 70 years ago, which was first directed by Domenico Faccenna, who is the young guy next, that side, exactly. Italian excavation in northern Pakistan in the mountain valley of Swat have continued through without interruption up to today. The excavation actually started in what was, and that's an important aspect, an independent principality of Pakistan, the Yusufzai state of Swat, which would be only incorporated in Pakistan in 1969. Tucci came to Swat, one might say, directly from Tibet. Before World War II, as I told you, Giuseppe Tucci in Tibet had come into contact with monks and personality and had access to important libraries of Tibetan manuscripts. The frequent question is, why Tucci came to Swat? The reason why Tucci came to Swat is that amongst the thousands of manuscripts that he could access and microfilmed, which are now preserved in the Italian National Library in Roma, one of the largest collections of Tibetan manuscripts of the world, microfilm, not the original one, of course. Amongst those manuscripts, Tucci found some travel accounts which were written by Tibetan pilgrims. This is a fly which is annoying, but since we are Buddhists, let's say we have to accept any form of life, okay? So he found travel logs which were talking about this, kind of holy land of Udayana, where the Tibetan pilgrims were heading to, searching for the origin of the Vajrayana form of Buddhism. And Tucci was rightly in identifying the land of Udayana with the Swat Valley. From Swat Valley, from Udayana, came the famous Spandabhasambhava, the Guru Rinpoche, who is considered the founder of the Vajrayana Buddhism in Tibet, in Bhutan, in Nepal, in the Trans-Himalayas in general. And this confirming the intuition made by another great person, great character, which is Horel Stein. And by the way, if this year marks the anniversary of the Italian Archaeological Mission, 70 years, next year will be 1 century after this gentleman came to Swat for his first seminal exploration of Swat. That was in spring 1926. So since today Swat, despite the challenges posed by the growing demography, is much better known and explored than at the time of Tucci and Stein, of course. And most of the sites which were reported by Stein and Tucci are now restored, excavated sites, viral tourist destinations, such as Gumbat, for example, I show in the previous slide, Amluktara, Barikota, Basaepchina, and many others which are under the control of the Directorate of Archaeology. I say, is not, we can say that probably Swat is one of the, archaeologically speaking, one of the best explored archaeological regions of the entire South Asia. So, and this is happening when and why? When a strong bond of collaborations and continuity in the fieldwork, this is the main point, continuity in the fieldwork, is established between state and provincial government and foreign institutions. This is an extremely good example of what can be achieved. But since we are at the LLF, I cannot but talk a little bit about books. Some of the books are here exhibited in the stall. We're not talking about fiction, of course, but popularization and dissemination of scientific contents. From the very beginning, as already been said, all the publications made by the Italian mission, over, I would say, 1,300 books were published in English. But since a particular moment when the ACT project started, together in collaboration with Mr. Ali Kamran of Sangemil Publishing House of Lahore, we decided to, we plan a publication plan which was meant to make the books on archaeology of Swat as much as possible accessible in Pakistan, especially to Pakistani students at very nominal cost, especially now that we have started a program of e-books. 3 of them were recently published just a few days ago, which are on sale on a major e-commerce platform at a very nominal cost. With $20, everyone can download 600 pages of archaeological information and data. And we will continue going in these directions. In June, 2 major books will be published soon. So this is what I want to say. And speaking of books, and we have already shown some of these slides which were presented by Candida. One thing is important, sorry to take a minute more. You see that book, Digging Up, was the first handbook manual of archaeological excavation. I was very happy to see one of the attendants here having this book. Has been pretty popular here in Pakistan among students, has got two editions. And then it was translated in Dari and Pashto by the former Afghan Institute of Archaeology. At that time was headed by a former student of Dr. Samad, Nuraga Nouri. The book was published and translated in Dari and Pashto. That was an extremely interesting intellectual exercise. And I'm hoping that in future Urdu will also be considered a potential scientific language, because this is a must. When we were discussing the informative boards for the Swat Museum, we weren't able to find anyone who was able to translate in a consistent way the archaeological information. Why? Because Urdu has lost this scientific, has never developed, I would say, this scientific dictionary, this scientific vocabulary. And it's time that, especially for Pakistani students, that Urdu should be reintroduced and developed as a scientific language, as a medium for the dissemination of scientific information. The rest of my, thank you. The rest of my slides are just about the mission, the library. We have about 10,000 books. Recently, we got 3,000 books from the library of the Domenico Faccenna. And I don't tell you the story how difficult it was to get this book import in Pakistan. Dr. Samad and I, we have fought with some people in the custom in Karachi to get these books cleared, which happened only after, we can say some details, 5 months and the demurrage cost of $15,000 US. Okay, just were a donation of a book to an establishment, to a library which is open to the public and to the students throughout the year. The rest is activities. We have a lot of students from Pakistan, foreign countries, foreign universities, Italian universities, my university, of course, and we were involved in several projects, a CPF-funded project on the Vajrayana rock carvings, and then The works done on the top of the Barikot with the major work done on the Acropolis. That was an ALIF funded project for 2 years and a half. That was something absolutely amazing. It was results will be soon published in 3 stunning volumes published by Sangemil in June. This is the Barikot archaeological site. And I will leave the floor to Dr. Samad to conclude and say something about the future of Barikot.
Well, I'm sorry for this fly who was very much annoying and trying to distract you, but you were committed. Anyhow, before talking about Barikot, I want to acknowledge the ACT project. Fatma is leaving. I can see her. Fatma is representing the British Council. They are doing some amazing work. You have seen the conservation of the rock carvings in Swat that was funded by the British Council, and thank you to the British Council as well. So ACT project is the unique project in the whole of Pakistan. Candida mentioned that there are so many projects related to community, but ACT is still one of the best projects that we have in Pakistan, which was involving community in the field of archaeology, which was very much unique at that time. Even now, after 15 years, it is still very much unique because through this project, we have trained more than 300 people who were living around the archaeological site, and they were. About the Barikot, let me tell you why the Italian archaeologists, why Italians are working in Pakistan, why they selected Swat, like Luca said. The Oriental archaeologists, like Professor Tushi, he went to Tibet to study about the Buddhism. But there he was curious to know about the origin place of Tibetan Buddhism, the present Dalai Lama and Buddhism. You might know all about this Buddhism. So he was tracing the Buddhism of Tibet, and he came to Swat, and he found this is the origin place of Tibetan Buddhism. And this is attested, this is not just a myth, it was attested through the archaeological excavation by the Italian Archaeological Mission. It is attested by the literature that he has mentioned, the Buddhist sutras. There is one very much important inscription which is in Lahore Museum, which is saying the Vajrasthana, the seed, the place of Vajra. So Barikot is extremely important in this regard because this is the place where the Vajrasthana, the origin of Tibetan Buddhism started. We, with the help of Italian Archaeological Mission, Christina is sitting somewhere here. So she is working for UNESCO. We are planning to elevate this site on a World Heritage site. So very soon you will see Barikot as the Pakistan World Heritage site. The KP government, we are very much committed on doing more investment, like the land acquisition. We have acquired all the land which was related to the archaeological site of Barikot, and we have allocated more funds. The Italian Archaeological Mission, they are doing, and we are hoping UNESCO Pakistan, the director is also somewhere sitting here, I saw him. So, yes. So, we will be seeking his help as well to bring this site on a World Heritage because it has complete criteria, fulfill all the criteria. We just need to bring that. So, apart from ACT project, that was a success story between the two government. Now we are looking forward to start another project. That is the Heritage Field School. This is the soft loan. The Excellency is sitting here. She will be signing the agreement, final agreement very soon. This will be again one of the unique projects in Pakistan where we are establishing 7 different archaeological conservation laboratories throughout the Khyber-Pakhtunkhwa. I repeat, this will be the first ever conservation laboratories in Pakistan which will be doing conservation work, training programs. You know, there is a special police in Italy, Khyber-Pakhtunkhwa, who look after the antiquity smuggling and trade control. So they have a specific dedicated police to, so Italy is pioneer in this field. So through this field act, this Heritage Field School project, we will be asking the Italian government to invite some expert from Italy and train our police and train our people how to do this antiquity trade control, smuggling, illegal digging. And I hope this will be yet another important project that we will be initiating. Luca said this uninterrupted collaboration between two countries, uninterrupted, even during the insurgency of Swat Valley, like Candida, she has shown her amazing work, uninterrupted, and we believe that This will be uninterrupted. We are very much proud of this collaboration, the government of Khyber-Pakhtunkhwa, to have this collaboration. We are looking forward for further generation to continue this collaboration. And unfortunately, we don't have much time, but we will be inviting one or two questions. If you have, then we will conclude the session.
First of all, my huge compliments to Dr. Luca. I visited him when he was conserving that museum back in 2012, and he was working in Shalwar Kameez. My huge compliments to Dr. Luca. Just a small suggestion that I have, that you have done amazing and spectacular work at this museum and the other sites. There's a very interesting site just near Mangora, which is Udegram. And it is believed that the historians say that it was destroyed 6 times and it was rebuilt 6 times on its ruins. So any
Yes,
okay.
yes. I take your question and also to add one information, because Udegram, where we excavated the 3rd oldest mosque of South Asia, built by a general Mahmud of Ghazni, so just to set the things, has been part of the acquisition process put in place by the Department of Archaeology, the Directorate of Archaeology. So the area of Udegram was part of the city project, is part of the implementation of the vision that DOAM KP has put in place. And I would like to add one element. The ACT project was a $2.5 million project, lasting for 5 years in total, in 2 phases, okay? The post-processual investment done by the Khyber-Pakhtunkhwa government on the project's aims and targets were 130% of the total invested by the Italian government. So that's to give you the idea that whenever we have invested money coming from the Italian taxpayer, we got results thanks to the positive post-processual investment done by this is when I say bond of collaboration. It is something real. So you put 100, you get 120. That's something you put, the need, the heritage. That's something absolutely important. But Udegram is part of this huge process of acquisition which is being put in place. Simply that all the chukidars, you know the term chukidars, watchkeepers, which were deployed by the Italian Archaeological Mission at the time in 12 archaeological sites, which were later acquired by the government, by the provincial government. After the devolution, everything was, up to a certain extent, easier, because devolution was a really important instrument. We realized that amongst those 2 million people that left Swat, the Italian chukidars remain in Swat. So we paid them what they would, eventually the government of Pakistan has given them as a compensation. So then I realized, if we link the protection of the sites to the community who is bound to the sites simply because at the beginning that it was a source of work, source of income, and then through the work there is a dissemination of procedures, let's say, cultural links, awareness of the cultural importance, you can really win the case. And that's really the project, these community-oriented projects are now, this is now the standard. Kite project, World Bank is doing the same. The Italians were the first to start with this. So every project has this community point. The first one, ACT, also the CPF, the British Council project on the Buddhist heritage of Vajrayana, has the same part, which is fundamental. The new projects are also focusing on the same. And in the end, we are transforming also vis-a-vis the government the concept that heritage is not a burden, but is an asset. And now things are coming positively back, because the new number of tourists which are visiting Swat and the archaeological sites throughout Pakistan and KP is amazingly growing. It's really something, and is increasing and increasing.
Thank you, Excellency, for the Italian contribution to the Swat archaeology, because of which we are receiving millions of tourists to Swat Valley, and Swat became the hub of religious tourism. Thank you very much.